Okay, hi everyone. Here's a conversation we're having real time with many of our developer partners and multifamily owners and REITs about how they're thinking about financing solar. And then what we should say is how they start off thinking about it and where they end up thinking about it. So here's multifamily building. These are typically owned by funds or REITs. So the investors can't monetize the tax credit directly. So how does everybody allegedly think about long-term commercial solar financing, doing a PPA, typically with a 20 or 25-year term. So on the surface, that checks all the boxes they're looking for. It provides capital, it monetizes the ITC, and it's the easy button from an O&M perspective. You have an investor who's responsible for making sure the system performs. So it checks a lot of boxes. The challenges that come up with that, however, are first, credit. These multifamily vehicles tend to be owned in funds that have a lot of debt, perhaps limited operating history, and may want the flexibility to also sell, which then triggers a conversation about termination value. And then overall, let's talk about capital costs, because the goal here is for them to ultimately save money. And even in an IV energy solution, et cetera, they're looking at the capital cost, depending on the system size, who will do a PPA, and trying to make the numbers work. So this is where the conversation starts, and these are the topics where it gets bogged down. So here's where a lot of these evolve to, is we have our multifamily unit here. Instead of doing a PPA, finance it with your FHA lender and sell the tax credit. So for those who aren't familiar, FHA funding, you typically get 15 plus year terms. You have a very low interest rate. It doesn't cover the performance aspect of things, so it puts a little extra onus on the developer to talk about how you're going to handle O&M and issues like that. But it does cover how you pay for the system and how you get value for the tax credit. Now, where the next challenges and conversations come up with on this, and we can work with you to structure around these, are timing. When can you sell the tax credit? Two, there's still an underwriting consideration here. We have a 5-year, recapture period, so that comes up. And then, how does the structure work, and what terms and conditions does the investor need to understand in order to proceed with this? Welcome talking through this with our developer partners or your multifamily clients. Hope this is helpful. Leave comments or questions in the comments down below. Thanks.